Hopefully you guys can hear me. Hold on, let me see. That's as far up as I can crank the microphone. Well, I guess I can do it on here too. I just remember we were having problems in the past with the overall audio level being too low, but I don't want to make it too high or the microphone is going to start clipping. So if anybody still thinks that the audio is too low, you have to let me know. So, oh wow, someone's watching from Italy. That's awesome. Let me scroll up here a little bit because I know somebody had some questions. Oh, Derek just says, you want me to send you that hockey news article? No, that Sal, was his name Sal, right? He actually emailed me a PDF of it, so we're covered. So one thing I just kind of wanted to say before we got started was that it's Tuesday, and I'm kind of hoping to make this something that we could do like every Tuesday, or at least almost every Tuesday. It's my personal opinion that if you work a normal Monday to Friday job, I don't know what normal means, but standard. In my opinion, Tuesday is the worst day of the week, and so for me, it would be something to look forward to be able to hang out with you guys and play some games on a Tuesday night. So hopefully we can make that a regular thing. I don't know. I always think that at some point I'm going to switch over and start doing this on the main channel, but I don't know. I get nervous or something. So I kind of like it over here better, Morpheus asks about some commentary on the PS1 Classic. Now that the complete list of games is known. I tweeted about it a little bit. There's a few games on there that I thought were kind of odd inclusions, but I would say that probably 17 of the 20 games are games that I'm happy are on there. And of course, everybody is going to have plenty of games that they wish were on there, because there's just way more than 20 great games on the PlayStation. So no matter what, some people were going to be disappointed. So overall, I'm pretty happy about it. I'm still feeling good that I pre-ordered it. It's the first time I've pre-ordered one of these little classic consoles. So I'm looking forward to getting it. And then, I don't know, maybe we'll do a live stream or something. I just feel if I was going to live stream PlayStation, I'd rather just live stream a real PlayStation. Yeah, happy Halloween. So the whole point of this was kind of do like a Halloween pre-party or something. So yeah. Oh, Federico, you're from Palermo. My grandparents are from Palermo. So that's awesome. Oh yeah, you can see the Swamp Thing. That's the return of the Swamp Thing. I've had that. Me and that poster have a lot of history, and I thought it was lost, and then I found it last week, and so I put it up. And I don't know, my wife hasn't seen it yet, so maybe she'll get mad I put it there. But I figure at least temporarily that it'd be cool to put it there just because it's Halloween. Someone sending a postcard from Death Valley, that would be cool. Yeah, somebody says, how can you not include Gran Turismo on it? Like, I'm not saying I don't agree, but you remember that the controller is not analog. So playing a driving game that way is definitely not going to be ideal. Now, of course, they included Ridge Racer Type 4. So, I mean, they're still including a driving game, but I'm guessing that there's more licensing issues with Gran Turismo because of all the real cars and everything. I don't know. That's the only thing I could guess. Anyway, I guess we can keep talking about this while we're playing the game. So, obviously, I guess you all know that we're going to be playing Castlevania III Dracula's Curse. I mentioned on Twitter I don't have a whole lot of experience playing this game. So, this is not going to be like me putting on a clinic of how to play Dracula's Curse. So, but it's a game I wish I could play more, and part of the whole point of doing these live streams was an excuse to play games that I otherwise weren't gonna get around to playing. So we'll go ahead and switch the view over to the game stream and turn on the Nintendo. Okay. So, I mean, everybody knows that this is the third Castlevania game on the Nintendo. They kind of deviated a little bit with Castlevania 2 and kind of gave it sort of this adventure RPG kind of feel, which that's another game I haven't really played enough to have like a strong opinion about it. So, and somebody please let me know about the level of my microphone and whether or not you can even hear the game audio at all, because I can always turn that up a little bit. Anyway, I don't, it's got a plot. The only thing I know about the plot of this game is that it takes place before the original Castlevania. But, I don't really get super into the plot with these games. So, yeah, Kevin says the audio is clipping. That's what I was worried about, but I'll turn it down a little bit. So we'll see if it still clips. It's not, well, a little bit. I just worry that if I turn it down too far, then the overall audio is not loud enough. But anyway, so I turned it down a little bit, so you might have to turn up your speakers or whatever. But you guys aren't saying the audio is not clipping on the game, is it? I hope. You should be able to only barely even hear the... Once the game started, the audio started getting... Well, that's weird, but... like I said, I can't hear what you guys are hearing, so you guys are going to have to... Still clipping? I can turn it down a little bit more. My voice is clipping, or... Still, I can't hear the game. All right. You ordered a Buck Rogers cartridge, so you could get the... So I get the manual and something new to play on the old Sega Nomad. That's cool. Yeah, my voice... I turned down... oh, you know what I got to probably do is turn down this. That's why... Hold on. That's why it's clipping. Because I have the input turned up too high on this little zoom thing. I forgot about that. So now it's at 60. So now we might have to turn it back up in OBS. So so just tell me how it sounds now. All right. Sorry for everybody having to sit here and wait. I feel like we have to go through all these problems like literally every time I live stream, which is probably because I only do it like once a month. So you can see the first part of the level is very reminiscent of like every Castlevania game. You start out outside the castle, and one thing I never still bad really. Is it because it's rubbing? Hold on. I can move it down, but it's not clipping on here. I might have to stop the stream and restart it. I could, because everything looks fine here on all of the levels and everything. So, all right, let me try starting the stream and restarting it. I apologize. All right, so I just restarted it again, and I turned up the game audio. So let me just give it a minute or something, and I'll check the comments. I feel like we have to go through this every single time. Still clipping. All right. Let me try if I turn that off. All right. So now there should be my voice and absolutely no game audio. So someone tell me how that. I would say it's probably your streaming PC. I mean, I literally just started restarted my computer. So I wouldn't expect that would be a problem. Yeah, maybe it's still clipping. Hmm. It can't be anything on here. All right. Now I unplugged the lavalier mic, so now I'm talking straight into the thingy. So maybe it's the could be the mic. So is it clipping now? Only when I talk. Well, that's kind of the important part. I mean, I can go back down to 50. Line input? That's not supposed to be a line input. Line in or microphone? Hold something on the back here. Phone. Recording format. Switch back to previous OBS layout. Yeah, I can't. Well, I know one thing we can try, but it's going to be crappy. But hold on, I'm going to unplug this. You're not going to hear anything. So if I do it like this, can you guys hear me now? Now I think it should be coming through the microphone on the webcam, which is certainly suboptimal, but can you guys hear it? CGR, yeah, I wish I was CGR. Is it better now? All right, well then, great. I don't know. We'll deal with that another day. I guess now it's going to be all echoey, but what are we going to do? I'm glad we got that fixed finally. So, but now we can turn the game audio back on, eh? And then I guess just tell me if the game audio is crappy. See, I had something I want to talk about, and now I can't even remember what it was. So we were kind of doing this instead of, I mentioned again on, I think it was on Twitter that somebody was saying that they wanted me to do like another Halloween special, like flashback, like I did last year, which I really had a lot of fun making that episode, but I just didn't feel like I had any more Halloween stories really to tell. So I just figured we'd do like a live stream instead. But and somebody mentioned Monster Party, and I was thinking about doing that, but I didn't get a chance to. Let me turn it up a little bit. I didn't get a chance to play it beforehand, and so I don't want to. I feel like anytime I play a game in front of you guys for like the first time, at least for me, it's kind of awkward. So. Yeah, so I just turned the game audio up a little bit more, so let me know. It's really easy to just keep inching it up, so if it's still not loud enough, just say so. But I guess everybody's going to have a different opinion on what a good level is for the game audio, right? So these platforms are interesting because they only flip around if you jump on them. Like if you just walk across like normal, then they don't move, which is nice. Christian says, "You remember Tales from the Crypt?" Well, are you talking about the TV show or are you talking about the comic book? Because I'm a pretty big fan of the old Tales from the Crypt and all the related comic books like The Haunt of Fear and Shock Suspense Stories. I'm not sure I ever actually watched the Tales from the Crypt TV show. I used to watch Tales from the Dark Side back in the day. I don't know if you guys remember that one. Well, Ryan, what if you don't mind my asking? What are you watching the stream on? Like, I don't know if you're watching it on a phone or something. That could be part of the problem. Thanks, little stupid flea man. There we go. Game audio is still low. All right, no problem. Crank it up some more. I mean, just someone let me know if it gets so loud that it's drowning out my voice. Because other than that, I don't care. You also kind of notice that this first level of Castlevania III is actually really long. Oh, I accidentally picked up the... I didn't see where I picked up the stopwatch. The stopwatch isn't a very helpful weapon in this game, in my opinion, because you can't really use it against any of the bosses. I meant to hang on to the holy water, because that works really well against this bozo, but probably doesn't really matter. This guy's a pushover. I wonder if you guys are only hearing the game audio through the microphone. But that shouldn't be the case. But, I mean, if so, I can just crank up the game audio. That's easy. So, if you guys are saying you haven't noticed any change in the game audio, yeah, let me just... How about we just do this? Because then I can hear it more anyways. So, so right here you kind of have a choice. You can either go up and then you go up into a clock tower, or you go down and you go to like the Black Forest, I think. And so I'm not like a huge fan of going up into the clock tower. It's like a dead end. You have to go up and then come back out. And the only point of going up there is that there's a character you can pick up. So in this game, you can have two characters. Kind of like, what's that game that just came on the PS4 earlier this year or last year? I forgot. They kind of based that off this game where you could pick up other characters and switch between them. So if you go up into the tower, you pick up this like monkey guy or something, and I don't know. I don't really like it up there that much. So as far as I'm concerned, we're gonna yeah, Bloodstained. Thank you. Somebody asked, Jim asked if I had this game growing up. I did not. I forgot to look up what year this game came out. Well, actually, I can look right here. It came out here in... Oh, it was only 1990. Well, there goes my excuse, I guess. I was going to say I was probably done playing Nintendo by the time this game came out, but that's not true. But I don't think I actually even knew anybody that had this game, so, which is weird because I knew multiple people that had the original Castlevania. I gotta deal with this monkey. Yeah, Bloodstained Curse of the Moon or whatever. His name is Grant. Yeah, I forgot his name. The guy has a little bit of a kind of a monkey thing going on, but I mean, he's a cool character. I'm not saying he's not, but By going this way, we pick up this other character, whose name I also forgot, who I like better. So, and you can only, seemingly, I think you can only have one extra character. So, I think I missed where you can pick up the Iron Cross. Oh no, there it is. Oops. I like using that against these owls. Oh wow, there's 99 people here. That's pretty good. You know, I know it's not much to look at compared to like, you know, a 16-bit game, but whenever I play through this level, the amount of detail they managed to squeeze out, you know, considering the graphical capabilities of the Nintendo, it's pretty impressive. I like how you've got like just the silhouettes of the trees in the background there, and then you come up here and you've got, you know, they're using like, I mean, is that parallax scrolling or is that just some other graphical trick? I don't know, to make it look like the river is flowing. It looks pretty cool. And I always wonder, is there some reason for coming out here? Like a secret? Because it seems like that ledge seems like it was placed there deliberately. Wall meat. Oh hey, Mario's joining us from Mexico. That's cool. And then here I go straight, because up here is where you pick up the other character, whose name unfortunately I forgot. Oh, you found Tim Tams at Safeway in Oregon. Was it just the regular Tim Tams? I just opened up a box of, or a package rather, of white Tim Tams, you know, because I got the 4-pack, and I didn't like those at all. Jim, the Dreamcast episode, it's coming along. It's just, it's one of those situations where there's a lot of conflicting information online, and so I'm just trying to make sure that I get it right, you know. So there's been a lot of research going into it. I did finally get pretty much all the games, though. I just got Power Stone in the mail yesterday, actually. And the only games I'm missing are, I don't have the House of the Dead game. Was it House of the Dead 2, I think? Which would be kind of nice to have, but I wasn't really going to talk about it that much anyway. And Monaco Grand Prix, which honestly I probably wasn't going to talk about at all. So I have all the other launch games now, so I kind of feel like I'm pretty much covered. The only other thing I'm waiting for to come in the mail is a VMU, believe it or not. I think I must have gotten rid of my VMU at some point, because I have 2 of those first-party multi-page memory cards, and I guess I got rid of my VMU. That sounds very strange, like I have a hard time believing it, but I can't find it anywhere. I did find the receipt for when I bought my VMU, though, so that was kind of cool. Because I still have the box that my Dreamcast came in when I bought it, and so the receipt's in there. And then oddly enough, oops, that was close. Oddly enough, I didn't buy a VMU at the same time. I bought the VMU at a different store, which I don't. The one thing I can think is like maybe like because I got my Dreamcast at Best Buy and like maybe they were sold out of VMUs. I don't know. It's possible. But it was a charcoal gray VMU anyway, and I kind of want to have just the standard like Dreamcast beige color to use when I'm talking about it on camera. So, and I managed to find a brand new one on eBay, still in the original launch style packaging. So so that should be cool. So this guy's kind of a pain, but not if you have this. Although this boss fight kind of takes a little while, because the way I'm doing it is I'm going to basically stay up here and just keep throwing the Iron Cross. But since I have the... How come it's not working today? Well, this works too. Oops. I could swear I've done that before. Oops, he's running. What is that thing he's carrying? I mean, I can't tell. Whoops. There we go. Hey, William Hetherington's here from Taiwan. That's pretty cool. I just got Power Stone. Well, whatever floats your boat. Pedro Cortez is here from Chile. Sorry. That's pretty cool. And hey, Austin's here too. That's awesome. Austin, I just watched your no special weapon playthrough of the original Castlevania the other day. I thought it was pretty cool. If anybody doesn't know, so Austin is gameplay and talk. He does a lot of cool live streams and playthroughs. So he's one of the channels I always watch. So now we got I can't remember this person's name, but we're about Sypha. Thank you, the vampire hunter. So I think Sypha is a really cool second character to have. So so we want to take. I don't know if that sounds like a girl's name. I don't even know. Oh, him. All right, it's a guy. So we're gonna take him with us, and then Trevor's gonna go over there and shake hands with him. Yeah, so pretty cool. So Sypha doesn't cling to the ceiling like a spider monkey like Grant does, but still a cool addition. Michael Off Grid says you should know Mr. Driller is awesome. I'm not saying it's not. I just feel like it was a little bit of an esoteric game to be included with the PlayStation Mini. I don't have a problem with it. I just, it's not the first game that would jump to mind for me when thinking of games to include. Yeah, Little Shop of Horrors is an awesome movie. I watched that, I think, in the movie theater. And then somebody asked how my day's been, which thank you for asking. I'm still getting over a cold, so that kind of sucks. I don't know if you can tell if my voice sounds different, but yeah, other than that, I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, see, that's what I thought. It was a big mallet, but then, like, why do you have to whip the mallet? Like, why can't you whip? Whipping the mallet shouldn't even do anything. And Echo gave us a $5 donation. Thank you. Is that like an English Springer Spaniel? I can't tell what your little picture there is, but anyway, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. All right. So now we have Sypha, so we can switch back and forth if we want. Usually by this time I just kind of switch over to him, but I should have done it already, because then I would have gotten a special weapon for him. I don't know if I switch over. Do I still have a special? See, now I don't have a special weapon, and now all you have is this like wand or whatever, and that's not really helpful. So I guess for now we're just gonna stick with Trevor. Oh, hurry! I guess I should have grabbed this one up here. You think the lineup looked pretty weak? I mean, I'm not saying I can't understand that line of thinking. I'm just, I feel like you have to remember that on the PlayStation, so many of the marquee titles are third-party titles, and I mean, we still managed to get some third-party titles, but I think expecting a lot of them was going to be that was always going to be a tough sell. See, I never know how to kill this person because you don't want to get knocked off the thing. All right, we might die right here, but I don't know what else to do, so. Oh, well, there we go. I guess you just can't get off the stairs, Kind of wanted to switch over because I'm hoping I can find a special weapon for Sith. I screwed up. I mean, I'd be really surprised if oh, I wasn't paying attention. I'd be really surprised if the PlayStation Classic doesn't get hacked. So I mean, what PlayStation console has ever not gotten hacked? You know. I'll wait till this guy comes down here. Ooh, get away from me. But I don't know how much memory. Did somebody say how much? Yeah, I wonder how much memory is on the PlayStation Classic, because that's going to make a huge difference as far as how useful it's going to end up being. I'm going to switch back. I'm also really curious to see if they aren't going to make it possible to add more games to it. Hey, damn it. I always think it's weird how when you start off you just have that little basic whip. But because then they immediately give you the power-ups to like max out your whip. So like what was the point? It's not like, you know, when you find like the Roman numeral 2 where it's kind of like hard to come by. I don't know, I just always thought it was strange. Could really go for some wall meat right about now. No. There you go. Wall meat? No wall meat. Go Dodgers. Well, that didn't work out for you this year. And listen, I totally get that the Giants were a complete dumpster fire this year, but I mean that's sports. Still trying to see if I can pick up a weapon for. Oh, there we go. All right, see. So now. Of course, now we're about to die unless I can find some freaking wall meat. Can you go over there? Oh, monkey guy can go. Well, the monkey guy can't go over there. Grant the monkey guy. This might not be better, really. Shoot. I forgot about that. So now you can connect external monitors and cameras directly to the iPad Pro. Well, that would be nice. Although, you know, I bought an iPad Pro because for some reason I thought I would use it to like edit videos for this channel for CGQ Plus, and I just have never done it. So I mean, it's still nicer to have because the screen's a little bit bigger and stuff, but I could have gotten a regular iPad and been happy with it. I was hoping they would have some news about the Mac Pro, because that's what I use to edit my show, is a Mac Pro, an old Mac Pro. In fact, I found out when I was up in Vancouver, when I was hanging out with Happy Console Gamer, we use the exact same computer to edit our shows, so that's pretty cool. Now that I don't need it, there's some wall meat. Nothing with iMac Pro. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't like the iMac Pro, though, because you can't expand it at all, so I don't really care for that. Austin, what console am I using? I'm just using a regular Nintendo, but it's yeah, it's an RGB modded Nintendo into a OSSC, so yeah. Oh, Papstobon, what's up, dude? I have an old Mac I never used. Someone gave to me. It's got a massive screen. They don't make them like that anymore. Yeah, is it an old? You mean it's like an old iMac, or? I used to have an iMac as a work computer. Like they just bought me and I think that was like the first generation of iMacs, wasn't it? No, it was the white one. I don't know, but it had an LCD screen in it. So, but I always thought it was a weird choice because like everybody else was on PC and they bought me and this one other guy Macs. Maybe they were just trying to see if they wanted to switch everybody over or something. I don't really know. Oh, I thought we were gonna die right there. I was ready to be upset about dying, and then we didn't die. Fabian says, I don't know if you pronounce it Fabian or Fabian. I have friends that pronounce it. I have one friend named Fabian and one Fabian and one Fabian. Get away from me, stupid bird. Well, at least over there he can't get me. Anyway, you were asking what my next launch video is. I'm hoping to have it out in the next month. I don't know. Those videos take way longer to make than I think they will. No wall meat there. I'm not sure I've ever been this far into the game. That's the way we came from, isn't it? Dude. Hold on, let me put my phone on silence real fast. Oh, hey Tom, what's up, man? I really like the palette. Oh, yeah. I don't know which palette I have. I have this set on. This is Mummies. Oh wow! I didn't realize I was so low on health. Let's continue. So unfortunately, that starts us all the way at the beginning of the ship again, but maybe that'll be okay. Did I just get an email? Yeah, sorry, I had my phone not on silent, so it is now. We don't let interlopers interrupt the show. I do not want that. How was it hanging out with Happy Console Game? Yeah, I was going to talk about that on the next episode of Flashback, but I was just I was happy to find that he is literally the exact same person in person than he is on the show. There we go. You know, like I'm saying, like he's not putting on any kind of act or anything. Like he really is that positive and that high energy. Oh, wrong one. We're dead again. I think I should have switched to Trevor right there. It's like whip the guy in the face. Anyway, yeah, I know it was cool because like I didn't know him at all. Like I literally tweeted at him while I was in Vancouver, just to say, hey, are there any good video game stores up here? And then he basically tweeted back and told me to private message him, and so I did. And he just said that him and his wife wanted to invite me and my wife out for dinner. Like, sure. I just figured, you know, I always assume nobody knows who I am, so I just figured he doesn't even know who I am. So. You're eating M&Ms. Which kind? That's an important question, and I'm surprised nobody else asked. See, this is where I don't know. I'm going to switch actually now. Still not doing well, but they all taste the same. No. My RGB modded NES is the top loader. Yeah, I actually have a top loading Nintendo, but I don't use it. I found it a long time ago for real cheap, and it's just still stock, so I don't do anything with it, which is stupid. But I mean, what am I gonna do with it? I'm gonna jump up there. That was not really worth my time. I hate those guys. Oh, the colors all taste the same. Yeah, the colors taste the same. HCG has a wife. Yeah, he's not gay. He has a wife. She's a very lovely woman. Wife is hot. Well, I'm not saying that, but she's a very lovely and attractive woman. I don't know who you're asking about Halloween. I personally do not have any plans for Halloween. We were going to give out candy, and then we decided that we didn't want to. So, which I feel kind of bad about, but we haven't even gone to Costco and bought candy. And I don't know. We're always very generous at Halloween, so I think it's okay to take a year off. So we're going to turn off all the lights in the house and probably hide down here in the basement, actually, because you can't see the basement lights from the front of the house. So. Not a hater. No, you're not stopping the show. I'm passionate about M&Ms, that's all. Peanut and peanut butter, by the way. Thanks for asking. Does he still have his weapon? Oh, yeah, he does. Usually turn the front porch light off. That's what we're gonna do, but we're gonna turn like all the lights off. What I should do is actually just take my wife out and go somewhere, but I don't. Oh. Oh man, wake up! Oh. Oh crap! You have to get closer. I warned you guys though, so. Necco wafers? I was never into Necco wafers. Oh, sorry, I keep not paying attention. I mean, I've had Necco wafers, but that's probably the main thing I'm going to miss about giving out Halloween candies. I'm not going to have any Halloween candy, but that's probably a good thing. So I ate all kinds of junk food when I was in Vancouver, so you need to take it easy. Dead again. Ooh. Now we're dead again. Wow. Have you checked out the Mr. Project? I mean, I've been watching my buddy Todd. He's been uploading videos on the Mr. Project, just showing like gameplay footage. But other than that, not really. It definitely seems like it's something cool, but it seems like it's something that's kind of in its infancy. So I don't really want to be like an early adopter with something like that. It's the only thing, whenever you're standing at the base of the stairs, you can't use a special weapon, you know? Actually, I'll take that. Necco wafers are like poker chips, yeah. They just kind of remind me like that kind of dry... oh, man. Things are going from bad to worse. We should probably play something else at some point. I'm trying to think of another spooky game that I could play on the Nintendo that I've played before, though. Have I played Bloodstain? If you're talking to me, I've played that Bloodstain Curse of the Moon. Because isn't there a Bloodstain that isn't like an 8-bit style thing? I don't keep up with modern games. I played the one that's like Castlevania III. Here, let me just take a break for a minute. That's my problem. I'm getting flustered. Oliver says thanks for the nice postcard back. I'm glad you got your postcard. You beat Castlevania 1 recently. How does Castlevania 3 compare? I mean, I think most people would agree that Castlevania 3 is the better game. But they're both really good games. So play Goonies 2. Goonies 2, there's like no point in playing Goonies 2 if you don't have a walkthrough, in my opinion. Yeah, peanut butter wafers. Caramel M&Ms. Have I had caramel M&Ms? I don't know. Yeah, I like the peanut butter M&Ms. You're begging to get your windows egged and have toilet paper thrown all over your front lawn by not giving out candy. I hope not. Oh, good question. What are your thoughts on the analog Mega SG? Is that what it's called? The Mega SG? The FPGA Genesis. I think that's actually pretty cool. For a long time, I kind of had a negative opinion of the analog people. Just due to some stuff that went down kind of in the community with them, with the Neo Geo, the consoleized MVS they made. I'm not going to go into that. And then the analog NT, you know, it's like $600, and it, you know, I just felt like that, you know, it just felt like they were being a little bit greedy. But then with the Super NT, that seems like I don't have one, but because I just don't really need one. But it definitely seems like it's a really nice piece of kit. And if they're giving the Sega Genesis the exact same treatment, then that's awesome. So same thing. I'm sure I'm not going to get one because I just don't need one. I already have 2 Genesis systems. So the last thing I need is a third one. Dark Mint Tim Tams are my new. I didn't know dark mint Tim Tams were a thing. I need to look into that. I wonder if Jonathan is watching the stream. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that he's not. So, yeah. Um, yeah. Anyway. Oh, it's not a good time to do that. Yeah, I don't. Whenever those analog systems come out, I always think like, oh, I should get one. But then like, what am I gonna do with it? Nothing. Like I already spent all the money buying like upscalers and whatnot. So at this point, there's just no point in getting one of those systems because I'm not going to use them to record gameplay footage for the show because it's not. I want to, whenever possible, I want to use the real system. So, like I could use it when I stream, but and I already have EverDrives for all those systems as well. So. Just all the more reason of why I just don't really have a use for one of those things. I just think more for like, for like you guys or something. I think one of those analog systems are worth having, or people that don't have the hardware at all and are looking into just getting into retro gaming. I think that those things are a good value. Just because that way you're getting new hardware and you don't have to worry about it. Like I know at least one of my Genesis systems probably needs to have its capacitors replaced, and like I got one of those Firebrand X, improved audio amps for my Genesis, which of course I haven't installed yet. And if you get something like an FPGA system, you just don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. So, god damn it, this level's really kicking my butt. Which is weird because I don't really think it's actually a hard level. Because, you could make the argument that at some point, you buy an OSSC or a FrameMeister and you go buy all the consoles, and at the end of the day, it might be cheaper than buying, like, a NT and a Super NT. And the Mega SG or whatever, but like I said, then you're still dealing with the old hardware, And it seems like really, if you just get the Super, not the Super NT, the regular analog NT, you can play ROMs on that anyway, and it's an FPGA, so that's kind of the best of both worlds. I don't know if anybody can tell me. I don't know if you, I don't know if you can play ROMs on the Super NT. And then, yeah, Austin just mentioned the AVS system. Yeah, that's what I would get in lieu of analog NT. Like, I think the Super NT is good, but for Nintendo, I would just get the retro AVS or whatever. I almost bought one of those too, but it's the same thing. I just don't need one. And thanks, $5 from Tom. Thanks, I appreciate that. Hope you don't mind me calling you Tom. That's cool. Thank you. I need it because somebody sent me a package today, postage due, like one of you guys did, which I didn't mind. I just thought it was funny. Like I guess somebody just like guessed and just threw some stamps onto an envelope, and then I don't think this is gonna work against this guy. No, it doesn't. Dead again. Oh well. There's an FPGA ColecoVision. That'd be kind of cool. I wouldn't mind having that actually, because I don't have a ColecoVision, but I would like to. Go dig out your candy from the 80s. Now and later's Lemonheads and Jolly Ranchers are called, and red jellyfishes. Yeah, it would be cool. You can still get now and later's. And I actually just bought, well, not just, it's probably a couple months ago now, but I bought a bag of the little Jolly Ranchers. Those are really good. That's kind of an underrated candy, I think, Jolly Ranchers. Especially the green apple or sour apple, or whatever it's called. It was funny, I found this store where you could just buy a bag of just the green apple, the little ones, but you get a whole bag of them. And I ended up buying those and mailing them to my mom, because when I was a kid, she used to love those, and I bet she probably hasn't even thought about them in years. So just to try to put a smile on my mom's face, Oh, damn it. That didn't go well, but at least we killed the dude, or Medusa, so I guess that's a chick. My whip's not even long, so that's not really helping. Come here. Yeah, Tootsie Rolls. I love Tootsie Rolls. I feel like they're such a cheap, crappy candy, but they're delicious. I never really understood what a Tootsie Roll was until somebody pointed out, like on social, like on Twitter or something, that they're chocolate taffy, which for some reason, that never occurred to me, that it was chocolate taffy, and as soon as somebody said that, it was like, duh. Tootsie Pops, too. But they gotta be cherry. Well, they don't have to be, but that's the best one. Tom is fine. I can call you Tommy, too. It doesn't really matter. Sorry, I got more... Watermelon Jolly Ranchers. Yeah, those are good, too. Depending on what you're playing right now, if your EverDrive is free, you can play Splatterhouse. I don't think I have that. I know what you're talking about. I don't have that on my EverDrive, so I'd have to load it, and then you guys would have to wait. So, what do you think of this new Intellivision system coming out? I don't know anything about it. I don't have an Intellivision either, so if it was an FPGA, that'd be cool, but I don't think it is. Yeah, Starburst are pretty awesome. Any Mischief Night memory? I don't think I personally ever did anything mischievous on Halloween that I can think of, aside from pumpkin smashing, but I guess we kind of talked about that. Yeah, Ermi wants to know if you moved any of your videos to Amazon. It's funny, I was talking to Happy Console Gamer about that. You know, I put the Super Nintendo launch video up on Amazon, and they make it a huge pain in the butt to upload stuff to Amazon. And I finally got it, you know, uploaded or whatever. And I thought everything was fine, and then somebody sent me a message and let me know that you can watch that video about halfway through, and then the audio keeps going, but the video is stuck. And like, I was just like disgusted, because you know, it was so much of a pain to get that uploaded, and we gotta continue again. Does anybody want to play something else? Because how long's the password? Take a picture real quick for future use. If somebody wants to suggest something else, I don't mind just grinding away at this game, but I just feel like we've been stuck on the same level now for a while, so I just don't know if this is getting uninteresting to watch. Yeah, I just haven't played Monster Party before, but here's what we can do. We'll play some Monster Party, and then if that's not going well, we can input the code and go back and play this. Ooh, Ghosts N Goblins. All right, let's play a little bit of Ghosts N Goblins first. Oh, I gotta put in the EverDrive real quick. We won't get that far on Ghosts N Goblins, but if we're doing if we're doing a Halloween stream, it seems like we should play some. And go. Night Trap. You could reset and try a different route. That's true. I could have done that. But then I'd have to start over from the beginning, wouldn't I? See, I feel even worse playing this with Austin watching, because he's like the game guru. That seems loud. Is that not loud? Oh, by the way, because I only see it because it's up on the screen here, but, you know, now YouTube has this thing where you can, like, premiere your videos. So I was thinking about... That's loud. I was thinking about doing that with the Dreamcast launch video whenever that's ready. See, now I feel like it's too quiet. Oh, well. It's just funny because this game is so not good, this particular port of it, you know, but it just reminds me of hanging out with that kid Steven that I talked about in that flashback episode. You know, because we only had a handful of games, so it's like, you know, whether or not a game was good was sort of inconsequential, you know. Oh, I don't want that. How far away do I have to go to get that to disappear? Still there, still there. Can I jump over it? See if we can try the little dirty trick with the red devil over here. Gargoyle. I can't, like, yeah, I could play Gargoyle's Quest 2, but again, that's a game I've never actually played. So, Tommy says, you think of a name yet for the podcast? I was just gonna go with, I think, Radio CGQ. I forgot. I keep forgetting I need to upload all that audio. Just yet another thing I'm never gonna get to, you know. Ooh, see, that's a good weapon. Like, I just wish I had more time. Like, I have ideas of, like, you know, like, I could have a podcast completely separate from my show and wouldn't run out of things to talk about, but there's just only so many hours in the day, you know. That's what I say. I always get the knife. My friend Alex says the knife is the worst, in his opinion, the worst weapon in the game. I don't understand how you can say that the knife is the worst weapon in the game. Because I'd say the same thing about the subsequent titles, if you can get the knife. Although, I don't know, in Ghouls and Ghosts, like, I think there's a better selection of weapons. But this is the first game, so you gotta cut it some slack. Close. Let's try to get through this area as fast as I can because I hate these stupid things. Oh, here we go. All right. All right, that wasn't bad, right? Did you see those one-up arcades? Those are like those little half-size arcade machines, are they? I mean, they're cool, but I have an arcade machine, so I don't really. They're cool for people, I guess. But what's your favorite Ghouls and Ghosts? My favorite Ghosts and Goblins game. So, yeah. Although, yeah, it's Super Nintendo. Yeah, the Super Ghouls and Ghosts is a good game too, but. Yeah, Golden Boat, exactly. So many ideas, so little time. That's the problem. Done the podcast thing in the past. It's fun, but hard to juggle on a regular basis along with normal video content. Yeah, and you don't really get, I don't feel like you really get much out of doing a podcast, you know? Like, I think it's a lot harder, really? I think it's a lot harder to build an audience if you're running a podcast. Because I feel like you're really, we're dead. It's up to you to build your own audience, really. I mean, when you have a YouTube show, all I did was make videos and upload them, you know? Like, there's really not a whole lot you can do to promote your own content. You know, like, people are always, like, spamming links to... I think I would have learned the first time. You know, spamming links to their videos on... damn it. Can I continue? On, like, Reddit and whatnot, or on the forums. and it's like you're trying to pick up like a view here or a view there, and it just doesn't make a difference really. Uh, once YouTube starts recommending your videos to other people, that's when your channel takes off, and there's not a whole lot of control you have over that. So, I mean, that's when my channel took off anyway. It's like, I just kept making, hopefully what I thought was decent content. That was bound to happen. But my point was just that with a podcast, it's like, if you can manage to get into, iTunes top 25 or whatever, then I guess that would help you. But other than that, like, I don't really know what you're supposed to do to grow an audience on a podcast. So, and of course there's no money in it, but there's not really all that much money on YouTube either when you consider how much longer it takes to produce video content versus audio. So, not that I'm saying doing a podcast isn't time consuming, because of course it is, but editing video is far more time consuming. So, like, yes, I get compensated for my time, but I make like less than minimum wage. Ironically, except for the magazine read-throughs, because those are sponsored by Dollar Shave Club. Oh, man. I thought I could get them before I became not invincible anymore. Did you play the PC Engine CD version of Super Ghouls and Ghosts? No. I'm not sure I know what you're not thinking of the Super Graphics version of Ghouls and Ghosts, are you? I've never had a Super Graphics. Playing Dracula on the Lynx. I have that game. That Dracula game on the Lynx. I have that game. Reddit plugs hurt you more often than not. Well, part of it is Reddit is really unfriendly to people promoting their own content. Like, I mean Reddit users, just because I think so many people are doing it. And I think that, like, Reddit users get tired of it. Like, there's subreddits for YouTubers, but really not all it is, but most of what it is people trying to, like, post links to their own channel, or people who just started on YouTube, like, asking how to grow their channel. Really? Shouldn't have gone up that way. Yeah, Morpheus, like, I've never had a Super Graphics, so I've never played it. I mean, people say it's good, but I like the Genesis version just fine, so it'd be cool to have the arcade board, but I think that's one of the pricier. That's a CPS1 game, right? Yeah. No. CPS1 or CPS? CPS1, yeah. It's one of the pricier ones you can get, so just I think it maybe wasn't quite as popular. Stupid bird. Now we got things coming out of the windows, if I remember correctly. I always remember this part because when I did the flashback episode and I was talking about the game being like all glitchy and whatnot, I remember that this was one of the things I was showing on the screen. Just because, like, the scrolling of these platforms looks so awful. I mean, it works, but I don't know. They could have done. Oh, I tried to jump. They could have done so much better, you know. Have you played Ghosts N Goblins arcade? I haven't played the original arcade board, but I have the Capcom Generations disc, the Japanese Saturn disc, and that's got a, it's a port or whatever, the arcade version. So I've played that. That's a really cool disc. So that's worth picking up if you have the ability to play Japanese Saturn games. There's a few of those Capcom Generations discs that are really cool. And Austin, yeah, it's definitely rewarding. I don't want to make it sound like I'm complaining. I'm not. I don't do the show for the money, because all the money goes back into the show anyway. So I'm not. I think that was maybe kind of the point I was making. Is just like, you can put a lot of work into a YouTube show, and I think that if, at least as far as building an audience goes, it's easier to build an audience on YouTube, and then you get the satisfaction of having an audience. Like, making money is cool, I guess, but I don't think most people start a YouTube channel because they want to make money. But you do want an audience. If nobody's watching your show, then that's what feels crappy. But much like anything else in life, once you get an audience, then you want a bigger audience. Then you're not satisfied with the size of the audience you have. Like, I remember when I used to get excited when one of my videos got 100 views, but your expectations get like constantly recalibrated. Like now, if I make a magazine read through and it doesn't get 10,000 views in the first month, like, as far as I'm concerned, that was like a failure. Even though there was a time when, like, I would have killed to have 10,000 views in a month on anything that I made. I mean, I used to make launch videos and I couldn't get anybody to watch them. I got stuck on the stairs. Maybe if you combined eyeshadow palette reviews of video games. Yeah, I mean, I hear that that kind of content does well on YouTube. My old iPad got to the point where I couldn't, it wouldn't let me log in to my Google account anymore. And so when I would open the YouTube app, I wasn't logged in, and so it wasn't showing me anything based on my personal watching preferences. And so you get to see what YouTube shows just most people. And I was pretty surprised by the kind of content that was there, because I don't really wander outside of my own bubble on YouTube, so like, I don't really know what else is all that popular. So god dang it. Steven donated $5. Thanks, dude. Appreciate that very much. Now, can we still even continue? Oh, we can. Can we one more time, just because I'm enjoying playing the game. So yeah, no, I knew you were joking. But I wouldn't be surprised if something like that did well, because, hey, that would have something for everybody. But I would say, I think it was a little bit disheartening seeing, like, because I know there's all these, like, Let's Play people that are, like, super popular on YouTube, like people who are like PewDiePie, but, like, I don't know who any of those people are. And, like, for me, it was just kind of disheartening a little bit to see, like, how popular those channels were. Like, I'll never be able to even touch that. It sucks that these guys take so long to kill. But it's just the nature of it. It's just, it'd be no different than if you worked in, like, TV or something, and, you could make this really cool scripted show, like a, Law and Order or CSI type show, and then you'd watch as you got your butt handed to you in the ratings by, like, The Biggest Loser. Like, it's just like, you can't go comparing yourself to other people, or you're always going to be unhappy. So, because no matter what you got going on, and no matter who you are, somebody out there's got it better than you. And so, like, don't torture yourself, It's kind of what I was saying with the game lineup of the PlayStation Classic. Like, focus on what you have, not what you don't have. Like, there's a bunch of good games on there. Like, yes, there's some other games that it would be cool if they were on there, but they're not. But there's all kinds. There's Intelligent Cube. which is funny because I guess that's in a way that's kind of another esoteric game, but it's a personal favorite of mine. So I was glad to see it on there, and that's a game that if you want to buy a copy of it, I think it's probably still pretty expensive. See, like how the platforms just like appear out of nowhere, like that looks so bad. That was a close one. Too many platforms. Alright, boss battle. Let me check the comments before I go to the boss here. Fix your room? I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean by that. Hey Bob, you finally caught a live stream. That's cool. The poster's falling? Oh no. Alright, we gotta fix that. See, I just put up a little bit of tape. Maybe I better just take it down. I don't want it to get damaged. I just didn't want to, I didn't want to stick, thumbtacks obviously in the door. So thanks for letting me know. So yeah, Bob, glad you finally caught one of the live streams. We need CGQ ugly Christmas sweaters. Like, yeah, that would be cool. I actually have an ugly Christmas sweater that I was going to wear. I was thinking maybe this year I would do like a Christmas special instead of, obviously instead of a Halloween special. There's a PS1 version of Capcom Generations. Yeah, I don't have a way to play Japanese PS1 games though, but I region modded my Saturn, so yeah. Where we leave off here? I'd be surprised how far. Consistent content. It'd be nicer if I could upload more often, but I have other things to do. You subscribe to 500 channels. That's way more than I subscribe to. Intelligent Cube's down to only $30 complete. That's crazy. I think the price must have gone down though. But I love that game. Oh hey Kevin, what's up, man? Kevin hung out with me in Vancouver. He came to the fan meetup. It's good to see you, man. Thanks for the donation. I really appreciate it. I had a really good time hanging out with you guys. I was going to talk about that on the next episode of Flashback, but hanging out with you guys that night was like one of the highlights of my trip. So thank you for coming out. Most people have the attention spans of squirrels. That's true. I mean, I think we all get like that sometimes, though. Thinking of Christmas already? Well, it's never too early to think about Christmas. You need magnetic tacks. Well, how does that work though? The door's not metal, so how would that? Oh, Bob, it was Return of the Swamp Thing movie poster. Oh. Did you see that? That was close, but isn't there another one? It wasn't pretty, but we got the job done. Yeah, $48. That's still not bad. I think I talked about this on a recent episode of the show, but it's funny how there's games that 10 or 15 years ago were like the expensive games, but then like the price of those games hasn't really gone up compared to a lot of other games. Like, does that make sense? Like, Intelligent Cube used to be one of the pricier. I don't want that. One of the pricier PlayStation games. Not compared to like Suikoden 2 or whatever, however you say that. But it wasn't cheap. It was the kind of game I'd always keep an eye out for, if I went to like the thrift stores or something. God dang it. But But I mean, I'm not saying $50 is cheap. It's not, but I think there's a lot of games now on the PlayStation that you could drop $50 on, where that wasn't the case several years ago. So usually I can get through this level. That's probably as far as I'd ever be able to get, but at least we got a little bit farther than. Man. It's all because I don't want the stupid fire, but whatever, I'll take it. I jumped like a half second too late. Alright, maybe we should call it a day with that game. Somebody mentioned Gargoyle's Quest 2. That'd be kind of cool. Let's check that one out real quick. Yeah, IQ is one of the earliest $50 used games. That's what I'm saying. But I found a bunch of those. Not a bunch, but I've found like several copies of those over the years. I first played that game in the late 90s. Like my buddy brought it over to my house. And even at that time, the game wasn't cheap. I wanted to play some Gauntlet too, but let's check out Gargoyle's Quest 2 first. The game wasn't cheap, but I got really lucky, and I found a copy of it at Blockbuster for like $5. Thoughts on Creed 2? I didn't see Creed 1. I don't really watch movies, but the idea of him fighting Ivan Drago's son sounds pretty cool. What was that? Was that Rocky 4? I always liked Rocky 4, but did you give up on Dracula's well, we're kind of taking a break at least, so we might go back to it or we might not. Do you have something against Night Trap? No, I just don't have a Sega CD down here, so we just can't play it right now. It's chock full of 80s cheese. True. Gargoyle's one of my favorite cartoons. When was Gargoyles on? Because I always hear people talking about that, but I never watched it. But I wonder if I'm just a little bit too old. I never talked about it, I guess, on, I still can, but on Flashback. But I had the original Gargoyle's Quest on the Game Boy. I didn't know anything about it. I think it was a game that I bought purely based on, or asked for, purely based on the box art. But that was a case where it turned out okay for me. Thoughts on all these physical edition companies like Limited Run Games? For a long time, I didn't care for Limited Run Games. Just because I felt like their business model was really catering to just like flippers and shelf queens. But it seems like now more and more they're going like the pre-order route and kind of making sure that everybody that wants a copy of the game can have one. So wait, is this just like an RPG? It doesn't have like don't waste your time, give up. Well, that's not very nice. Nobody wants to sit here and watch me play an RPG. I thought this was going to have some side-scrolling action. Demon's Crest is a sequel to this. Yeah, that's my understanding. Demon's Crest is a cool game. It's in here. Oh, what's this fool got to say? 5 vials for power of Maelstrom. I don't have 5 vials, do I? Yeah, I didn't think so. We got to go get some. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not trying to like rain on somebody else's parade, shelf queen. I mean, some people, if they're just more into collecting games and playing them, then I mean, that's just, you do whatever makes you happy, I guess. But I think, we're all game collectors to a certain extent, right? But we're not allowed to leave this town. Wow, unless you become a true warrior. We got to figure out how to do that. I don't know, to say that like somebody is like being a shelf queen or whatever just seems kind of like a gatekeepy thing to say. So really, I shouldn't say it. But I think it just bothers me because like when a company like Limited Run Games comes along and is selling these games, and people want to buy them who actually want to play them and they can't because they're all being bought up by people who are going to leave them sealed, or people who are going to flip them on eBay. I just think that's kind of crappy. Well, I'm trying, but yeah, Austin, if you've got any, if you've got any suggestions of how to get whatever training I have to get, that would be awesome. This person's not going to talk to me very well. You can go to the training. That's what I want to do. Ah, all right, here we go. Ah. Wow, this reminds me exactly of the Game Boy game. I mean that in a good way. No. Ooh. I guess I did something wrong there. That'd be a fun game to play through too, but oh, was I supposed to go up there? Was that one? I guess it doesn't matter, right? It'd be fun to do a playthrough of Gargoyle's Quest, at least a little bit. Although it's the same thing. It's like a combination action game, like RPG style game. So, where am I supposed to go? Up, I guess. Just making sure the gun works, you know. Oh, is that why we were here? Oh, alright, that's it. That's easy. 500 games on Steam, that's a lot. Have I played Ghoul School tonight? No. Yeah, those Capcom re-releases, those are kind of stupid. I mean, what was that whole thing about how they're gonna set your console on fire or something? I wasn't paying that much attention, so yeah, Evil Apple is still the same game. It just switched over into the side-scrolling view. And Austin says collecting can be a nasty habit if you have an addictive personality, and that is very true. I mean, I think that thinning out what I had was one of the better things that I ever did, but I still have too much stuff. But every time I get rid of anything, I regret it because I end up wishing that I still had it to use on the show. You know, like my VMU, for instance. So I think later you can jump higher. I don't see a point going that way. That sound is kind of irritating, I'm not going to lie. I think I like the sound in the Game Boy version better, but I guess that kind of makes sense because I think the Game Boy kind of has better sound. Hopefully that's not blasphemous, but both systems sound good. You got my Let's Read playlist on right now? That's cool. I need to make another one of those soon. Oh, that's what I was going to show you guys. Sorry, I meant to show you this earlier, but I got sidetracked. I'll leave the game audio on. But, so, I don't know how you guys are going to feel about this, because this is kind of doing something a little bit different. But somebody, I think it was on Twitter, suggested that I do a Let's Read of something from, like, the Atari era. And but he didn't have a suggestion for what. But so I went on eBay and I bought the entire run of Atari Age magazines. So I have all those here. So like that's what that is. So like that's issue number 1. they're really thin. So this was like Atari's version of Nintendo Power. And I already flipped through all of these, and a few of them are pretty cool. I'll probably just do 2 or 3 of them, just because they're so short. And then we'll see how well that's received. I know that probably most people that watch the show are really not into Atari stuff, but I am. So, damn it. Any word on when the Dreamcast episode's coming out? It's going to be a while still. Like, I'm still writing it, so I haven't recorded any narration. I haven't even recorded any gameplay footage. As I was saying earlier, I do have all the games now, so that's helpful. But like I said, I found that there is a lot of conflicting information out there about sort of the development of the system. And so, like, there's times where, like, I had part of the script written, but then I did more research and realized that a lot of what I had written was not really correct, I don't think. So, I want to make sure that, I do the job right. So, I'm kind of tempted, like, I would love to interview Bernie Stolar, or is it Stolar? I don't even know how to say his name, so that's already a problem. And I don't know if, I don't think I know anybody that knows him. So I don't know how that would really go. Wasn't there a file down here? I mean, I think but anytime I've, like, tried to interview anybody, like an industry type person, it's always gone well. So, so it'd be nice to try to talk to him and just get something straight out of the horse's mouth. Although, I mean, there's several published interviews with him, so I can just read those and probably get whatever information I need that way. I don't think we can make it across that. Try. Nope. So I just want to catch up with the comments here. If you get the chance, please read some more Die Hard Game Fan. So yeah, I don't think I ever told you guys this about Die Hard Game Fan. Yeah, Die Hard Game Fan #1 is ridiculously expensive, but so for those of you that watch the Die Hard Game Fan read through, I talked about this guy Tim Lindquist, who was one of the founding members of Die Hard Game Fan, and dang it, and he was the guy that came up with their whole scheme for taking RGB screenshots back then. And I mentioned that I met him one time and bought some stuff off of him. So anyway, Tim Lindquist somehow ended up seeing that episode. He watched the Die Hard Game Fan #2 read through, and he ended up sending me an email and telling me that if I want to do a read through of Die Hard Game Fan #1, that he will lend me his copy, but he won't mail it to me because of its value. He doesn't want to put it in the mail, so he says I have to come get it. But he works for Sony Computer Entertainment America, whatever it's called now, over in the Bay Area. So he said I just have to come over to the offices over there and pick it up, So it's like, okay, that'd be pretty cool. So I just need to do that. But that'd be pretty cool. Part of the problem, though, I have like these 2 magazines that 2 different people have let me borrow to do read-throughs of, and I haven't done either of them yet. And so I just feel kind of bad about that. Because one of the magazines I've been hanging on to for I think over a year. And the guy says he doesn't mind because he knows it's in good hands and stuff. I mean, that's cool. But at the same time, I don't like borrowing people's stuff for that long and then not returning it just because I wouldn't like it if someone did that to me. So, but actually, I have that at arm's length here too. So that's going to be also something a little bit different. But I think this will be kind of cool. That's this Game Pro. I don't know where the reflection is, but Game Pro Celebrity Gamers. So it's just all full of like, they're still talking about video games, but it's just like all these like movie and TV stars from like the late 80s and early 90s. And so it would give us an opportunity to talk about like TV shows and stuff from back then. So so I thought that would be pretty cool too. So I got to do that at some point. But yeah, I definitely want to do the Die Hard Game Fan issue. Just, it's funny, I did that whole thing about the history of Die Hard Game Fan in the episode I did for issue number 2, just as I thought, like, there's no way I'm ever going to get to do issue number 1. And then it was funny because there's that one guy who's a viewer of the show who's been trying to buy a copy, and I think he actually might have finally gotten one, and he wanted to lend it to me and let me read it. And then, you know, of course, I told him I didn't need it anymore because I was just going to go get Tim's whenever it is that I end up making that happen. Whoa. I know that guy was going to get all homing missile on me. Anyway, I'm gonna have to turn the page with tongs. I don't know about that, but I might have to wear like white cotton gloves or something. So yeah. Oh, I didn't talk about that either. Thank you, Travis. Because I mentioned this in I mentioned it in the last flashback, but someone named Yura has been making these new overlays for me. So they made me this new overlay based on the old one, but this one looks way better. It's got nice lighting and everything. And then they're also helping me make a separate overlay for when I do, if I do gameplay, you know, let's plays or live streams or whatever of like retro computers, which I definitely want to get into doing. I've been meaning to do an Amiga live stream for a really long time. I just haven't gotten to it yet. But like I also have a Commodore 64 right here. I have a no, that didn't work. I have an Apple II. It went well for a while, and then it didn't anymore. Okay, that's probably enough of that game. So we're at like an hour and 40 minutes, so how about we can play one more, something, and then maybe we should call it a night. So hit reset. Oh, I said I was going to play a little bit of Gauntlet, unless anybody right now convinces me otherwise. Yeah, thanks, Austin, that you like the overlay. Yeah, it's really cool. I just the Yura just emailed me out of nowhere and just say, hey, I made you this new overlay. And I was like, you know, wow, thanks. You know, wasn't expecting that. But yeah, it's cool because it took the same idea I had and just made it look way better because I don't really know what I'm doing. Like, I just use GIMP for all that stuff, but like, I have no idea what I'm doing. So, nah, I can't do Shadowgate. I already did a playthrough of Shadowgate. Otherwise I would. So, you know, I talked about this game super briefly on the last episode of Flashback, but this is like another, I would say, one of the most beloved games of my childhood. Well, I think I have Sweet Home on my EverDrive, but isn't that like, that's a role-playing game? I mean, it's not going to be that fun to watch, I don't think. Played Chiller. Yeah, I've never played Chiller. Who's mentioning Bithead? Oh, did he? So did he talk about that today? I know Bithead released a new video today. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. I'll probably watch it after this live stream, so don't spoil it for me. I took a picture of me and Happy Console Gamer together and emailed it to Bithead because I know he loves that guy. So, you know, everybody says that this game's not as good as the arcade, and like, I mean, that's kind of a given, but, you know, and I have some great memories of playing the arcade game, and I already told that story like twice of having the whole bucket full of quarters at the casino and everything. But if there was ever a game back then that you wanted to be armed with a bucket full of quarters so you could play, I can't think of too many other games besides this one. Like, this game really doesn't do a whole lot to reward good gameplay or good skill with gameplay. It's just really meant to eat quarters. And I've never really gotten to play this game more than 2-player, I don't think, the arcade version. Because I think you could play the arcade version like 3-player or something, couldn't you? But I never have. But you know, I've always kind of looked at this as being sort of a spooky game. It's got a pretty spooky vibe, I would say. So I didn't think it was inappropriate to play it tonight. I made a list of all the games I was thinking about playing tonight. The other ones I had, so I had Castlevania III, which we played, Gauntlet we're playing right now, and Nightmare on Elm Street, which is supposedly not a good game, so I don't know why I even wrote it down. And then Monster Party was the game that I wanted to play, but like I said, I haven't had a chance to play it like at all, so that doesn't mean we can't check it out, actually, but I pushed the wrong button. Because it is supposed to be a really good game, so great game, fun memories of playing. Yeah. Now I want to play Gauntlet. PSP's in my pocket. Well, if you're going to bed, it sounds like you should fall asleep playing Gauntlet until you can't keep your eyes open anymore. That's what I think. Have you played Splatterhouse on the NES? A little bit. I'm not sure if I have it on here. We can look. Because now that I think about it, maybe it is on here. I don't know if it's on here or I played it with an emulator. I forgot which. Get away from me. I shouldn't have gone in there yet. See, I should have saved that. Well, it's not a potion. I guess it is a potion. I don't know. To me, it always looked like a light bulb, but I know that doesn't make any sense. But I should have saved that for this level, but I pushed the button accidentally. So, see, with this one, you want to get rid of as many of those little bone piles and stuff as you can by being on the other side of the wall. And then we'll go score a bunch of treasure. For those who don't know, treasure, you keep picking up treasure and it increases your score, and that's nice, but it also increases your maximum health. You have like levels in this game, so you don't really want to skip over the treasure if you're hoping to go deep in this game. You really need to expand your maximum health. I'm not sure how exciting this is to watch, so maybe this wasn't like a good decision. Nightmare on Elm Street is cool. Maybe am I thinking of Friday the 13th? Maybe that's the game that's not good. I'm just gonna run for it. Oh well. Okay, so now you get to this bonus stage. So this is where you want to pick up as many of these treasures as you can. And then, oh yeah, see, now your max goes up. And then the thing with these is that if you don't make it to the exit before the timer runs out, then it won't refill your health. So you can't get too greedy, but I always want to come over here and grab the key, because it's kind of like one of your chances to get a key that you're not obligated to use right away. So, and we better find our way over to the exit here. And then, so for a level like this is where this little, he's not an elf, what do you call that, like a little forest man or something. Maybe he is an elf. That's where he comes in handy because he's fast. So like if you have the fighter, he's going so slow. So now we got our health refilled, and so now we can get back to work. I do think that if you're going to play the game solo, I think that this elf guy is the best person to be. Normally I'm the wizard. He's actually my favorite character, but I think that with the elf, it's easier to build up your health maximum more quickly. And like I said, in this game, that's really the secret to going deep in the game. I was always a fan of being wizards whenever I had that option, which is funny. I know Bithead was just talking about that, but I always felt the same way. So, but like I said, I think if you're playing the game by yourself, I don't think that's the best choice. All right, well, so now since we have an extra key, we can go in here. And so now you pick up all this extra treasure. Here's some food that we didn't really need. And then now we already got another health maximum increase, so that's very helpful. And then you also notice when the game is on that screen, you get a password, so that's also helpful. So I'm going to try to clear out some of these guys so that when I come back through, it's not too bad because I want to try to get that potion thing if I can. So now we got to go this way. Try not to step on those, but it doesn't matter because there's no enemies around right now to attack us. There's some more food that we don't actually need, but I'll take. Well, actually, I'll wait and get that on the way out, because I'm probably going to lose some life right here. Okay, now we can grab that, and then make our way back around. I don't have a key, so I can't open that little box over there, but that's okay. Alright, so that's not bad. Have you heard of Zool for the NES? Maybe not. NES, sorry. It sounds familiar, but I think I'm thinking of Zoop. Or, what was that game on the Genesis? Zoom, that was Zoom. Not a bad game, really. Not playing this game as carefully as I usually do, so that's not really helping either. Can we get in here yet? No. So we have to try to... You have to keep like taking cover and coming out and hitting these guys, which is annoying. But I think they can't shoot you if you're shooting them, so if you can get in their face, then you're okay. Did I just leave some food back there, or did I grab it? Oh, I must have grabbed it. See, then they put that food right there intentionally so that you'll accidentally shoot it if you're not careful. You guys remember if you'd play this game in the arcade when you were a kid, there was always like some kid you were playing with who would always shoot the food. You know, and then you remember it would the arcade machine had like a digitized voice that sounded really cool. And wouldn't it say like Wizard has shot the food? I don't remember, but yeah. William, thanks for the donation. I don't know what that is in U.S. dollars, but whatever it is, it's very generous of you, and I really appreciate it. And I should say since you're here, I don't know how long the mail takes because I mentioned in the last episode of Flashback that I hadn't replied to your last letter, and so just so you know, I have at this point sent you a new letter, but I don't know how long it'll take for you to get it. So I don't want to waste my thing here, but. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. I sent you a letter this time instead of a. I figure you don't need any more postcards. It was kind of I don't know why I'm telling the story. It was kind of funny. Like maybe I didn't make myself clear or something. But when I had that meetup in Vancouver, I brought a bunch of stickers and postcards. And so at one point we're all sitting at this table, and I said like, hey, I brought you guys some stickers and postcards, and like everybody was just like, and I think they thought, or maybe they weren't sure whether or not I was giving them to them or like selling them to them. Like, it's not for sale, man. I was just bringing them because as soon as I said that, everybody like took them. It was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean for that to not be clear. I'm sure there's people out there that would do exactly that and like bring that stuff to sell, but to me that seems a little bit tacky. So I did not. Hold on, sorry, I got something in my eye. Oh, okay. Oh, you got the letter already. That's cool. Was it Zoop? I don't know. I can't remember the name of that game, but I'm losing my mind a little bit. Yeah. There we go. Oh, I opened a hornet's nest. Alright. I didn't want to use that, but I was losing way too much health. We're going the wrong way. I just lost like half my health. What else did I say we were going to play? I already forgot. I said I was going to look and see if Splatterhouse was on here. And kill those guys, I can get some food. I better do that. I need the food badly. Yeah, Ben, exactly. That's why, I was just bringing them as gifts, See, maybe that's what I should do, like, tomorrow night, since my wife and I aren't going to give out candy. Maybe we should, like, hang out down here and watch a couple of, like, Halloween-themed movies or something. Like, it'd be cool to... I haven't watched Ghostbusters in quite some time. I don't know if she's... I don't know how down she'd be to watch Ghostbusters. She's pretty much down to watch anything, though. We watch Die Hard as sort of a... That's like a Christmas movie we watch. Not every year, but kind of often. Why are these guys running so fast? It's like they're right it up. Alright, we better just get out of here. Oh, good. So we're going to get our health refilled. We need that. There's a game called Halloween for the NES. Yeah, I doubt it. Oh, thanks, Jimbo. Appreciate it. Well, the exit's still in the same place. So, see if we can pick up enough treasure to maximize our health again. I guess not. Oh. There you go. You never want to, like, finish and then you still have, like, 5 seconds left. Or you feel like you squandered an opportunity, Does your wife play any video games? She plays, like, the 2D Mario games. Or, well, she plays the 3D Mario games, too, I guess. But not much. Like, she's not really a gamer that often. Just sometimes she'll get into a game and want to play it. She does like to play on the arcade machine back here. She plays Magical Drop 2, the Neo Geo game. She likes that one quite a bit. I don't like that game, actually. I can't really get the hang of it, but she's pretty good at it. See, that's another, there's some more food that's really easy to shoot if you're not careful. There you go. So even if you have to take a little bit of damage to go get the food, you're coming out ahead, so. Get these stupid guys to come over here. Oh, we can actually shoot that bone pile right now. That helps. Nope, that's a horrible place to stand. No, we can't take out that thing yet. Ah, I shot the food. Oh yeah, anyway, I was saying about earlier, like doesn't the arcade machine, it'll say like, you know, Wizard has shot the food. Just in case you don't know which one of your knucklehead friends shot the food, it rats you out. But, I mean, it'd be fun to play a game like that on a live stream, but, I mean, we'd have to just play it with, like, MAME or something. Although I have that Raspberry Pi, and that has MAME installed on it, so we can always do that. I always forget about that thing. Although I want to have a Neo Geo live stream, too. The reason I had never done that is that my consoleized MVS doesn't get along with upscalers for some reason, and I'm not really sure why, but I forgot that I have a super gun that my friend Todd gave me a long time ago. The same Todd that gave me the Amiga, so Todd's a lot more generous to me than I deserve. He gave me a super gun, and then I have the Neo Geo board that's in the arcade cabinet. So, I mean, I could just use that. Although I haven't actually tried hooking that up, but there's no reason why that shouldn't work. Sorry, I haven't checked the chat in a while. I need to mail one of those postcards. Yeah, well, I got plenty of postcards, and I just ordered more lid stickers. Like, neither of them are limited edition, so there's no hurry. The Witches with Angelica Houston. I haven't seen that. Are you ordering whatever thing to make a Mister system? Nah. Maybe I will at some point. Probably pretty cool. Dude, your CMVS will fry your OSSC. It happened to Mad Little Pixel. Well, I'm glad I haven't tried hooking my CMVS up to my OSSC. I've only hooked it up to my FrameMeister, and it definitely does not like it. So, although I guess maybe I should do a little bit more research on that, because I don't want to... Is there anything else in there worth getting? I might come back and grab that. I don't want to do it right now. Like, I don't know if the super gun or whatever is going to fry my... I don't want to fry my OSSC. I've already fried my OSSC once. For those that don't know, I plugged the wrong power supply into it. And then I tried to fix it. Well, I didn't even really try to fix it myself. I ordered one of the parts that it needed, but it's like this tiny, tiny fuse. And so I never even tried soldering it on. And, like, some guy, like a viewer of the show, said he was going to send me some stuff. And then it never showed up, and I was like, that's not cool. And then I realized I gave him the wrong zip code when I gave him my address, and so I wonder if what happened is that he did send it, and it got sent back to him, and he was just like, you know, didn't want to deal with me anymore. I wouldn't blame him. But so anyway, you know, I ended up just sending it back to Matt Buxton, the guy that makes the things, and he fixed it. I didn't want to have to wait. That was my whole thing, is I was impatient. I'm like, I don't want to have to wait for it to get fixed, you know. But then I ended up having a broken OSSC for like months because I wouldn't get around to doing anything with it. So sometimes it's better to just suck it up right from the get-go and just get stuff taken care of. So that's what I should have done. I saw somebody asking out of the corner of my eye if I'm using an Elgato. No, I have a couple of Elgatos so I have like two different setups now for doing gameplay footage recording for the show, for the main show. And so I have this setup. So this setup, I have a, I know I've talked about this before, so some of you are just going to have to hear it again. But so I'm looking at an RGB monitor, so that's why I'm not really looking at the camera. I have an RGB monitor sitting up here. Well, I can just show you again, actually. But so RGB monitor here, and then up there is an OSSC that takes the output of the RGB monitor and upscales it. And then behind the computer, I can't really show you, but behind the computer, I have a StarTech USB 3.0 capture device. And so that's push the wrong button again. That's what I'm using to capture this, if you will. And then I do use this setup now for a lot of gameplay footage recording. Not because it's necessarily any better, but that way I can play the game on a regular CRT TV instead of having to play it on an LCD. And plus, I just like hanging out in the basement. But upstairs in my room up there, where the show has traditionally been produced, I have an Elgato HD60. I think it's the HD60S, if I remember correctly, that I bought not too long ago, and because I was just I kind of got sick of my original. I had an original Elgato Game Capture HD, and it's just kind of buggy, and so I ended up getting an HD60S. At least I think it's an S, and using that to record gameplay footage, and that works pretty well. But I have the Dreamcast set up there so that I can record the gameplay footage for the launch episode, because that's like a whole that's kind of a pain in the butt as far as all the stuff I have set up. I don't have so I have a VGA box that I bought a long time ago, and then I have a box that takes the VGA in and then outputs to 480p SCART RGB, and then that goes into my FrameMeister, and then that comes out of the FrameMeister and goes in to the Elgato HD60S. Now, I could actually skip most of that by just having the output of the VGA box go directly into this StarTech thing that I have, or the people that make that little VGA to RGB box, the Behar brothers, they actually make something else that plugs directly into your Dreamcast and will output. I think actually you can get one that outputs HDMI. I'm not sure. They make a lot of Dreamcast video solutions, but I actually bought that. I bought that VGA to RGB converter that they sold, not because I wanted to use it with a Dreamcast, but because I wanted to use it with old computers. And I emailed them and asked them if it would work, and they said that they thought that it would. And then when I bought it, it wouldn't work, just because DOS PCs output at a really weird sync frequency. So finding things it's harder to find things that will sync with that as far as capture devices go. So so it's funny. I remember I emailed them back and I just said, hey, this doesn't work, and they offered me my money back, and I just said, nah, it's all right, because maybe I'll find another use for that thing someday, but thanks anyway. And I kept it, and then I didn't have a use for it, but until I started wanting to record Dreamcast footage, because it's perfect for that. So that was a very long story. Sorry. Nope, got another. I think that's the nice thing with the PVM route. Play RGB and pass the signal. Yeah, exactly. That's why I like it. I don't know. Is that what you do, Austin? Do you play on a CRT when you're playing the game? I imagine maybe you do, just because that way you don't get the input lag. Since you're the game master. So this is what I'm talking about. So now I'm going to go into this exit with a couple seconds left over. So see, squandered. You use an AverMedia. Yeah, I actually have a bunch of. So I have two Elgatos. I have that StarTech thing, and I have a really nice internal capture card made by a company called Epiphan that I need to stick into this computer. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. I think that's going to have to be how I record DOS. That will definitely sync with DOS gaming footage. Because I need to start talking about DOS games here at some point on Flashback. Whenever it is that I get around to making another episode of Flashback. What's that black thing? Get away from me. What is that? Oh, I see. It's a piece of wall. It just looks weird. Screw it. I don't want that food yet, but I'll grab it before we leave. I don't recognize this. Oh, maybe I do. I was gonna say this level looks weird. You know, this game has like multiple paths you can take because a lot of these levels have multiple exits. So at first I thought that I didn't recognize that level, or this level rather, but I think I'm just tired. I don't know if I want to go through that exit, but I do want that. And now I'm going to go up and grab that other food. We have to get around these stupid things. Take that too. Alright, now we'll go. Yeah, you have a PVM, but it's 14 inches. That's what I'm using here. This is a 14-inch PVM. To me, it's all a matter of how close you're sitting. I mean, I'm probably about 4 feet from the screen. My face is probably like 4 feet from the screen. I have a 20-inch upstairs, but I just play that. I play on that just for fun. Like, I don't do anything show-related with it. So you go console PVM, OSSC, FrameMeister, capture card to HD flat panel. Yeah. What NES am I using? I'm just using an original NES. It's just RGB modded. I have another RGB modded NES, but I lent it to a friend of mine, and I'm probably never going to get it back. But I don't really need it back, I guess. That one I RGB modded myself. Like, I don't know how many of you. Yeah, I guess you'd have to have been retro gaming for a while, but there was a time when if you wanted an RGB modded Nintendo, you had to get the PPU chip out of a Nintendo, either off of a PlayChoice motherboard or from Nintendo Versus sub board or whatever from certain games. And I was able to buy a chipset or whatever from Versus Duck Hunt. I guess the board was dead. I'm not really sure. And I RGB modded a Nintendo by pulling out. You have to unsolder the PPU, which I guess now is not a big deal, but at the time, like, I was not. That was like the first big electronics project I think I ever did. So I had to like unsolder the PPU, and I put in. Get away from me. I gotta get around this guy. All right, no big deal. I put in a socket to make it socketed, but then like I also had to build. What's in here? Oh. I had to build an amp, which I still have sitting in a toolbox somewhere. It's so ugly because I had no idea what I was doing, So I built this like super ugly amp, but it worked. But there was some weird thing with that Nintendo, like the picture would flicker. Every once in a while it would like flicker. And like I would go through there and I would check all the solder joints and redo them. And I could never figure out what was wrong with that thing. And so my friend Anthony, the guy I did the podcast with for a little while, he didn't have a Nintendo at all. and wanted to borrow one so he could play a few games, and so I let him borrow that one. And like, I mean, I still talk to Anthony every once in a while, but I'm not really planning on ever asking for it back. He also has, I had two N64 EverDrives because I had one. Shot the food again. Yeah, here. I had one already that I bought, and then the EverDrive guy gave me another one because he wanted me to review it. So I don't mind that he has that because I kind of got it for free anyway. That's what I did. I ended up with an extra one of the Genesis EverDrives. Boy, things are going downhill. We gotta get out of here. Not the slimes, god damn it. So I ended up giving one of them to a friend of mine. Hey, Vinny's here. What's up, man? I had to attend to my vandalized car. What happened to your car, man? That's not cool. You never mess with a man's car. Damn it. What's this guy saying? Oh, Papstobon, you got an Olympus. The Olympus PVMs are good, dude. I want to say they're rebranded Sonys. What's the difference between a 20 and a 14 as far as the experience of playing? I mean, I grew up mostly with smaller TVs and playing on smaller TVs. Like, to me, a 14-inch is not bad. I mean, that's like still bigger than like the computer monitors I had when I was a teenager. So to me, like, I think 14 is pretty nice. But I'd say if you want to sit in like a lounge chair and have the TV on a stand or something, then 14 is too small. But for like desktop use, I think a 14 is a really good size. So, and I think Morpheus, I think I just kind of answered your question there. So, I'm trying to think of any. So this Nintendo is RGB modded, and I bought it from someone that does the mods. And then my Duo RX was I purchased that pre-modded, but I modded my Nintendo for RGB out, the story I just told. I modified my Nintendo 64. I modified my Super Nintendo Mini. Ooh, barely made it. So yeah, I've done most of the mods myself, I would say. So yeah, Pops, you just said it perfectly right. 14-inch for a desk is better. And yeah, playing a light gun game, I would imagine that you'd prefer to have it on a larger screen. So I think that was the end of the first map. So you got a Duo RX. I actually have a Duo R. I don't have a Duo RX. I misspoke. I mean, it's the same thing, actually. I think the Duo R and the RX are the same. It's just that one came bundled with a 6-button controller, and the other one didn't. But yeah, it's got the RGB mod, but it's got an older mod in it. But I think it's fine. Like, I know some people don't think much of the mod that I have in mind, but I think it looks great. I actually think it has better color than I have that crap. I forgot what it's called. The Super SD System 3. So I have that because I did the review of it. And that's a really cool piece of kit. Don't get me wrong, but when I did the TurboGrafx 16 in 1989 episode that just released a few months ago or whatever, some of those games were recorded using just a PC engine with the Super SD System 3, and some of the games were recorded using my Duo R. And I've rewatched that episode, and I can totally tell the difference. I think that my Duo R has the better picture. So, I mean, I know you can. I think it's Firebrand X that sells a kit that you can buy to improve the RGB output of the Super SD System 3. I don't think that's necessary. I mean, it's fine. It's just I think the colors are more vibrant on my Duo, but that totally comes down to the mod. There's nothing about the system itself that makes one better than the other, as far as that's concerned. But yeah, I think I pretty much have the same system that you sent to Bithead, just except mine's just a regular R. But it's funny that you sent him that system. I mean, well, first of all, it's very generous of you that you sent him that system. But because I remember at one point he mentioned mine. He's like, "Oh yeah, I see your Duo RX." He thought it was an RX, but back there because he was kind of jealous of it a little bit. And so for some reason, when he did that video and he was showing that you sent him that thing, I don't know how, but somehow um, I knew what was in the box before he opened it. I don't know why. And yeah, you're probably right that he's probably not going to ever use it. But I mean, you never know. I think he doesn't really care about stuff like that. And I think there's something to be said for that. For a long time, I was really like not anti-RGB, but I just didn't care about it. It was actually my friend Anthony, the same guy I was just talking about, who really just like wouldn't shut up about it and got me into it. And certainly it looks better when you're playing your games in RGB, but there's really no debating that you're going down a rabbit hole. Whoops. Because I used to just play games on. I had a Commodore 1702, which I have one now too, but it's not the same one. Not that it really matters, but and I used to just play all my systems, in composite, and I was perfectly happy with that, But then I got not this PVM, but a different 14-inch PVM that I still have, and I got it for free. And that was when I modified that Nintendo. I actually also, I didn't mention it, I made like it's not really a mod, I guess, because it's external, but one of the first games that I wanted, or one of the first systems I wanted to play in RGB was the TurboGrafx. And it's got that expansion connector or whatever on the back, and you can access the RGB signal pins on that. And so I built like an external video amp and just had it wired into that. But I mean, it was literally on like a breadboard, and I just had the wires like connected to the individual pins, just using little pin connectors. So I mean, the thing was totally kludgy, and you had to have it just like set up just right on top of the TV so that you didn't pull the wires out, But it worked, And I think I talked about that a little bit when I did that magazine read through of that whatever that TurboGrafx magazine was that I did. I forgot what it was called, but I'm getting really tired. Sorry, but I talked about that because the Legendary Axe was like the first game that I played in RGB. So that even though I didn't have a TurboGrafx back in the day, like I kind of have a little bit of nostalgia, you could say, for the Legendary Axe, just because that was one of my first RGB gaming experience. Oh, he doesn't have room for the PVM yet. I don't know. He could have put it down in his basement. I think maybe he just doesn't. I think he's just not into it, and he probably was just trying to be nice, He's such a funny guy, because he tries to come off on his show like he's such a Mr. Tough guy, but he kind of reminds me of Alpha Omega Sin that way. Like he has this sort of character that he plays on TV, but in reality he's like the exact opposite. And having said that, I've never myself met Alpha Omega Sin, but I've met people who have met him, or people who are, friends with him, who say that he's like the sweetest guy in the world. But he has like sort of this gruff, YouTube persona that he does. And in a way, Bithead kind of does the same thing, although I think it's just sort of two sides of his personality. I think I mentioned I tried to get him to do a live stream with me and Corey, and he won't do it because he said he's sort of not scared, but he's like nervous that he wouldn't do a good job or whatever, But like you would think that of all people, Bithead wouldn't care, Am I going the right way? Oh yeah. Ooh, what's that? Hopefully that's something good. Matthew, yeah, you should definitely get a. I have a Raspberry Pi, and I think it's pretty cool. I guess I don't actually really use it, um, but they're really nice. I don't know why I don't. I guess I don't use it because I don't really need it so much. I mostly set it up because I actually use it for the show. Like that's how I record um, arcade game footage. Is Wow, that's a lot. I record arcade like MAME footage using a Raspberry Pi, and it works pretty well. So, but I mean, just for the sake of doing it, might as well go ahead. Just for the sake of doing it, I have all the emulators loaded up on it, and I'm sure somebody that knows more than me would be able to play it and say, oh yeah, this isn't good, or this emulation isn't accurate or whatever. But I don't know anything about that. I mean, I think emulation has to be pretty bad before I'm gonna notice that it's not accurate or care. Like I just want to play the game. But for the most part, like I don't. When I'm recording footage for the show, I want it to be as accurate as possible. So sometimes, I don't like having to use emulators, but for arcade games, you don't really have a whole lot of choice, really. I mean, I own like 3 or 4 arcade boards, and that's it. So. I'm real haphazard with hitting those things to open up the walls. Like I just figure like, let's do it, Oh man, these guys! I forgot about these guys that throw stuff at you. I don't have enough keys to spare. I'm gonna do that. But I am curious what else is in this level. Whenever the exit is that close, you got to be suspicious of like what you're missing out on. But a lot of times it'll be something where you can't access it if you don't have an extra key. But we do have an extra key, so I can't get the food. There we go. I guess I didn't even really need the food that bad, but. Did you ever play Phantasy Star Online for the Dreamcast? I never did, and I don't know why I didn't, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm sure the game was still being. So I got my Dreamcast in 2001. It was April. And I only know that because, like I said, I have the receipt, and I just saw it the other day. And oops, gotta get out of here. Wow, what's that? Question mark. Yeah, so I don't know why I never played that game. It'd be cool to play it. Didn't somebody put up like? Isn't there still like a server up that like a fan put up or something? But I think you have to have the broadband adapter though, right? So I guess I wouldn't be able to play it anyway. What are those, little wizards or something? Wow. I'm not really sure I've ever been this far into the game, to be honest with you. But look at all those. Gotta get rid of this guy. Dude. I want those potions, damn it. Oh, but now I don't have any more. I gotta get this guy to follow me around. Oh, there's so much slowdown. There we go. Come on. There we go. Why is it not? There we go. Boom, now we're stacked. I don't have any keys. That could be problematic. Uh-oh. What happened? Your orb, which you are so foolishly looking for. What is this? Is hidden safely away in my vault. I've never seen this before. Oh, you're playing it right now? But you're playing it by yourself, right? You're pitiful and weak, and I will destroy you. Well, this sounds like the comment section on one of my YouTube videos. I'm kidding. Oh, well, I guess that's the end of that level. Well, that's kind of sucky, but what are you going to do? Should we have to pick away and just go, huh? And yeah, someone said I'm getting deep into some Gauntlet. I'm telling you, man, you got to be the elf. The elf is like, you know, he's like the long distance runner. Well, I don't think we're going to last that much longer because our health is not looking so hot. I've been playing this game a little bit too fast and loose. I'll deal with those guys right now. I don't have any keys, so I can't go that way. Well, it doesn't matter. So this level like loops around on itself. So you have to figure out, but I can't go this way. Oh, you can go that way. I didn't think I could open that since I don't have a key. It came from this way. Oh, the exits are down there. Okay. I'm open to suggestions, by the way. Yeah, it's another one that would be like, Red Elf is about to die. Yeah, it'd be really cool to play. Going through there is not gonna help. It'd be really cool to play the arcade version of this on a live stream or just whenever. I guess I never really do. I don't even know where I'm going anymore. We don't really ever do like arcade games on Flashback, but don't do that. I mean, now I might be screwed. It was funny something Johnny said to me while I was hanging out with him. He said he always tries to make his videos less than 10 minutes long. Because otherwise, I guess like he was making the point that people don't want to watch videos longer than that. And it was just, I think we're hosed now. Like now we're trapped. It was just funny when he said that because, you know, I feel like the Flashback episodes are just getting like longer and longer. Oh, you can push it back out, I see. So if I go through that, it's the way I came though. I think I've never gotten past this level, I don't think, because I always get trapped like this. Alright, see you later, QE. I guess that's how you say it, QE. Yeah, I had fun doing the live stream. Yeah, I mean, we can shut this off real quick and I can see if Splatterhouse is on here, but I'm not really sure that it is. But, well, let's take a picture of the screen as long as we got the hold on. Somebody was talking some smack. So, for those of you who've been watching for a while, when we were playing Ghosts and Goblins, my friend I was talking about that doesn't like the knife is Alex, who hosts Retro Game Squad, the podcast. And so he tweeted at me. He said, "I'm watching your stream. I still stand firm. The knife is the worst weapon in the game." So, well, that's just like your opinion, man. Yeah, it was nice progress, but I think I had kind of hit a wall. So, but I took a picture so that I can go back to it later. So, oh, it's somebody's lucky day. Oh, look what else I got in here. I got, I'm not going to play the other ones or anything. Bioforce 8, Blade Buster, Castlevania. I forgot what COM stood for. It's not Circle of the Moon, is it? It's like a ROM hack, obviously, or whatever. Crisis Force, Gradius 2, Mario Adventure, Metroid Plus, that's another ROM hack. Probotector is the European version of Contra, where there are robots instead. Rekka, Splatterhouse, Euphoria, Doki Doki Panic, and Zelda Outlands. But anyway, let's play a little bit of Splatterhouse, because people have been waiting for that. So, yeah. He's never going to beat that damn... I don't beat games, man. I don't have time for that. Alright, but I'm just going to say it now. This is the last game that we're going to play. Because now we've been streaming for 2.5 hours. Wow, that's grim. Alright. Alright, pretty simple controls. Wow, that's so graphic. You're like cutting those people in half. Ooh, it's awesome though. Sorry, the jump's a little floaty. Just gotta get used to it. Whoops. Give me some candy. How appropriate that you pick up candy. Oh. Oh, dang it. It's crazy that her head comes after you. Ah. Cool. Long jump. Oh, barely made it. How did this game never come out here? Uh-oh. Boss battle. Maybe. What are we doing? What is this, like Thriller? Is there something I'm supposed to be doing right here? Oh, alright, no. It was just... I guess that was just showing off. Oh, I see. There we go. What's he throwing at you? Damn it. Alright. Deuces. Ooh, hamburger. Needed that. And some candy. Ooh, then we go in the house. Oh, this is pretty cool. Pause it real quick. Oh, Evil Apple. Yeah, I don't know if he's ever beat the game. I'll try to remember to ask him after I get done with the live stream. Castlevania Chorus of Mysteries. Well, there you go. Bloodlines on the Genesis next time. Yeah, we played that a little bit a while back, but I'd like to get back into it. Because that was a cool game. the whole game is a spoof. Yeah, well, it's pretty awesome so far. All right, anyway. What's his hand doing? There we go. Spikes coming out of the floor is reminiscent to the first of the actual game, Splatterhouse. I like this. This game's pretty generous with health, so that's cool. I shouldn't have grabbed that yet, I guess. How are these books like regenerating out of the bookshelf? Oh boy. Definitely shouldn't have picked up that hamburger. Oh, alright. Good. Thank goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh boy. Oh boy. Alright. Game over? We can continue, so that's okay. You're asking how my my dinner was with Johnny. It was good. I mean, how did I make that happen? He invited me out, so it was just him and his wife and me and my wife, and we went out for Greek food right by his house. So and it was good. Oh, man, there's like too much stuff going on. Get away from me, chairs. What do you think of the PS1 full lineup? Yeah, we talked about that already, but that was like 2.5 hours ago, I guess. Like, overall, I think it's pretty good. I'm looking forward to it coming out. They weren't going to make everybody happy no matter what they did, so... Well, you can temporarily incapacitate the chairs. That's what you got to do. Man, that doll head takes a lot of hits. Yeah, Exorcist scene, yeah. Oh, thanks for turning on to Bithead. Well, I'm glad. Any new password's 1055, someone remember that. Any new viewers I can bring to Bithead, I'm happy to do so. Oh, we definitely needed that. Can you not kill that guy? I guess not. Can you hop up on it? Oh, you can't. Oh, I didn't realize it was like a... I didn't know there was like two planes or whatever you want to say. Oh, hopefully I didn't leave anything cool behind. I'll go ahead and take... I was trying to get the... What are those, killer chickens? What is that, Texas Chainsaw Massacre? When Renata continues, we're done for the day. That one wasn't too bad. So I guess when we're done with this live stream, what I'll probably end up doing is downloading it off of YouTube and editing out all of the audio problems we had at the beginning and then re-uploading it. Nobody needs to sit through that. So, hey, duck sauce. I gotta say, this is a very impressive game for a Famicom title. Oh boy, what are these little things? Uh-oh. What in the world? It's 6:16 a.m. Wow. Can I go in there? No. Welcome to Devil Town. Oh, hey, Sand Plasma. What's up, man? Yeah. See you later, Jimbo. I feel like we should have played this game like off the bat, you know? Dude. I don't understand how you're supposed to deal with those guys. Alright, so we gotta go up. I should just get off the floor because these guys are gonna kill me. Dang. Oh, man. I think we have one continue left? Yep. Alright, last time. Oh, damn, I did it again. Just drop down, right? Yep. My God. All right, are we? It said it unconnected and reconnected. I don't know if that means we're still on or not. Why didn't someone tell me this camera was pointed down too low? Okay, it says it resumed. That's good. So I'm sorry, I don't know what happened there, but that was game over anyway. So so I think we're pretty much going to call it a night. Like I was saying, for those of you who weren't here towards the beginning, I want to try to make this like a regular Tuesday night thing. So we should start thinking about what we want to play next week. I still want to play more Buck Rogers, uh, so we could do that. But I'm kind of open to suggestions. I'm down to hook up whatever console. My only thing is that I just want to just have one console hooked up for the live stream because it's too hard to try to, unplug a console, plug in a different one, and then have to adjust the settings in the OSSC. So, Morpheus, this was only a Japanese game. Oh yeah, Tommy, that's right. You weren't here at the beginning. Yeah, so we're gonna try to do Tuesday night live streams. Um, so like one thing I was thinking was PlayStation because I haven't done any PlayStation. I want to do the Amiga, like I said. So yeah, I don't know. So we got no shortage of things we could play next week. Yeah, I don't know, Night Trap. I'm just not really into the full motion video game, so I'm not super excited about playing Night Trap. I'm not saying no. I just maybe if we have like a Sega CD night one time, then we could check out some Night Trap. So, but that being said, we're gonna call it a night for now. So, thank you very much for hanging out. Thank you to those of you who made donations. It's very helpful. Papstabon said, yeah, we got to do a Neo Geo live stream, and I do have Magician Lord, so we could definitely play that. I am not someone that should be giving a Tecmo Bowl tutorial, so I'm probably not going to do that. But anyway, thank you again very much, and I will talk to you guys again very soon.